Okay, here in part 4, we're going to talk about method execution with inheritance. And our key learning goal is that if we don't find a method in a class, we look in the parents class. And actually, this one doesn't make much sense without talking about part 2, which was about method execution, sort of just in general. This was before we looked at inheritance. And that rule was that when we call a method on an object, we look in the object's class to find the code for that method. So here in part 4, we're adding on, if we don't find a method in a class, we look in the parents class. Okay, we've already looked at the code for example 2 on the right-hand side. And you might remember that it makes a picture on the bottom. So I've got cat C is a new cat and tiger T is a new tiger. Now I want to trace through the code, and on the left-hand side, I've got the cat class for reference, and on the bottom left, I've got the tiger class, which extends cat. And I've left a little blank because I am inheriting the method sleep from the cat class. That blank isn't necessary, but it's just a helpful reminder for us. Okay, so we're going to execute the code. We call c.sleep. Okay, what type of object is C? C is a cat, so we look in the cat class for the sleep method and we find it. We're done with c.sleep. We call c.sayHello. What kind of object is C? C is a cat, so we're going to look in the cat class for the sayHello method and we find it. It prints purr. Okay, we're done with sayHello. We're going to call t.swim. T references a tiger object. So what type is T? T is referencing a tiger object, so we look in the tiger class for the swim method and we find it. It prints splash splash. Our next line, t.sayHello. What type of object is T? T is referencing a tiger object, so we're going to look in the tiger class. And we find the sayHello method there and it prints roar. Okay, our last line is t.sleep. We're calling this method on T, which is referencing something of type tiger. So we're calling this method on a tiger object. So we're going to look inside the tiger class. And there we don't find the sleep method. Since we don't find the sleep method, we need to go to the parents class. That's the cat class. And there we're able to find the sleep method. Okay, so this is the key sort of mechanism of inheritance when we have an inherited method. Normally it just works the same. We just look in the class for that type of object. But if we don't find it, we can go and look in the parents class for that code. And here we found it, so we print that Z. Okay, I want to end part 4 with just a little bit of review. First, the learning goal was if we don't find a method in a class, we look in the parents class. But I want you to pause here and say, and try and identify what determines the type of the variable, what determines the type of the object, and what determines what class we will look in for code when executing a method call. You should pause here and then I'll go over the answers now. So what determines the type of the variable? The type is listed before the name of the variable. That's when we create those variables. What determines the type of the object? The constructor that we called to create the object. So whatever object, whatever sort of stuffed animal, that's how we're representing it here. That's the type of the object, entirely based upon which constructor we called. Lastly, what determines what class we look in for code when executing a method call? It's the type of the object. That's what matters, not the type of the variable, the type of the object. Okay, that was just review. The key piece is that if we don't find a method in a class, we look in the parents class.